Hello children, I welcome you all to our special English hour. Here we learn lots of new things, and while learning these things, we also have fun. Are you ready for some fun? Let's get started. Children, as you all know, we always start our day with something fun and interesting. So today I have a new tongue twister for you. Are you ready for the tongue twister? The tongue twister is 4 fine fresh fish for you. I'll repeat. 4 fine fresh fish for you. Sounds easy? Now I am going to try saying this tongue twister faster. Let's see if I'm able to say it without making any mistakes. 4 fine fresh fish for you. 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 4 fine fresh fish for... Oops! I almost got it right. I said it faster without making any mistakes 4 times. Now I have a challenge for you. Try saying this faster at least 5 times. Can you do it? Children, what comes to your mind when you hear the word humanity? When I hear the word humanity, I think of people like Nelson Mandela and Mother Teresa. These were people who strived very hard in their life to create an impact in other people's life. Humanity is all about that. Humanity is being able to empathize with other people's problems. It also involves helping people and, most importantly, treating every creature equally. Even if humanity has the word human in it, it does not limit to just human beings. We should treat every creature with respect and love. That is what humanity is all about. Children, do you think humanity is important? Of course it is, especially in the times where we live. Humanity has become even more important. I understand that sometimes we don't have time to even help people, even if we want to do it. But even the smallest of things that we do can create a huger impact in somebody else's life. And when we help someone, we feel very happy about it. And in some way or the other, we are able to help someone, right? So this is why humanity is very important. Today, we are going to learn about a person. This person has taught us many things. He taught us what is love, what is respect, what is peace, and what is the true meaning of humanity. Let's read about him. Children, before we learn about this person, let's learn some new words. You will see these words in the story when we read it. So, I request you to please make a note of these words in your notebooks. Enlightenment. 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 Gautam Buddha taught us about enlightenment. Mansions. 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 Rich people live in mansions. Prophesized. 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 He had prophesied that the child would rule the world one day. Renouncing, renouncing, renouncing. The king thought that renouncing everything will bring him peace. Starvation, starvation, starvation. Many people die of starvation. So children, today we learned 5 new words. Let's revise them. Enlightenment, mansions, prophesied, renouncing, and starvation. I hope that you remember these words, and I hope that you have made a note of these words in your notebooks. Children, please open page number 83 of your textbook. The name of the story is The Story of Gautama's Quest. Now, I will be reading the story and I request you to point at the words as I read them. And if you don't have a textbook, listen to me carefully. Gautama, the Buddha, was born over 2500 years ago as Prince Siddhartha. He was the son of a king, Raja Sudhodana. He was born on the sacred day of Vesak Purnima at Lumbini, situated near the city of Kapilavastu. 7 days after his birth, his mother, Maya Devi, passed away. It was prophesied at his birth that the infant would grow to be either a great Chakravarti, an emperor, or a sannyasi, a renunciate, who would bring comfort to thousands of lost souls. Children, this story is about Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha was born 2500 years ago from today. He was born in Lumbini. He was born in a royal family as Prince Siddhartha. His father's name was Sudhodana. 7 days after the birth of Gautam Buddha, his mother passed away. When Gautam Buddha was a young child, the royal priest had prophecy. The prophecy was that either the child would grow up to be a Chakravarti. A Chakravarti is an emperor, or the child would become a sannyasi. A sannyasi is a renunciator. Renunciator is someone who gives away all worldly pleasures. So this is what was prophesied about Gautam Buddha. The king was determined to prevent his beloved son from renouncing the world. He surrounded the prince with every imaginable luxury and comfort. It is said that the king had 3 magnificent palaces, one for each season of the year, and in the beautiful atmosphere of these royal mansions, Prince Siddhartha lived his secluded, protected life. Gautam Buddha's father wanted an heir for the throne, which means he wanted someone who would rule after him. And if Gautam Buddha was to become a sannyasi, who would do that? Which is why, to make sure that Gautam Buddha doesn't renunciate everything, he made sure that Gautam Buddha lived in luxury. It is said that the king had 3 palaces, each for every season. So, Gautam Buddha lived a very well protected and secured life. In good time, the prince was married to one of the most beautiful girls of the realm, Princess Yashodhara, the daughter of the Kolian king. Soon, a son, Rahul, was born to them. At the age of 29, Siddharth went out to see his kingdom and to meet his subjects. He beheld what the Buddhist books call the 4 signs, witnesses to the impermanence of the world. He saw an old man, a diseased man, a dead man, and a monk. And there entered into his heart a vision of dukkha, the world sorrow. What is the way out of the world sorrow? He asked himself repeatedly. The unanswerable question led him to renounce worldly life, leave his wife and son, and set out in quest of the truth of life. After a few years, Gautam Buddha married Princess Yashodhara, and after a few years of their marriage, they had a son. His name was Prince Rahul. One day, Gautam Buddha decided that he wants to meet his subjects, and this is where he discovered the 4 signs, or the impermanent truth. He saw an old man. He saw a sick man. He saw a dead man. And he finally saw a monk. In Buddhism, these signs are known as 4 truths of impermanence. Impermanence means something that is not permanent. When Gautam Buddha met all these people, he decided to renunciate everything that he has, and he wanted to find out what is the truth. So, he left his wife, his kingdom, and his son, and he went ahead in search of the ultimate truth. The story of Gautama's quest that ends in illumination and attainment of nirvana is one of the most moving tales of our times. For 6 years did Gautama practice intense asceticism. For several days in succession, he ate barely a grain of rice. His strong athletic body was reduced to a bag of bones. But it served no purpose. The Buddha then scattered a handful of grass on the ground beneath the Bodhi tree and formed a seat for himself. I care not if my skin and nerves and bones decay, he thought. I care not if my life blood dries. I shall not give up until I attain to enlightenment. Gautam Buddha's quest or search ended when he attained nirvana. In Buddhism, nirvana is said to be a state of mind. and one only attains nirvana when one renounces everything, which includes all the pleasures of life. And Gautam Buddha did exactly that. He barely ate anything. Before he went out in search of the truth, his body was very heavy, but now it had reduced to a bag. He had become very thin, but none of this helped him attain nirvana. So one day, Gautam Buddha scattered some grass under a Bodhi tree, and he sat there, and he said to himself that even if my blood dries and whatever happens, I will not move from this place until I attain nirvana. What divine willpower in these words! And what may not a man achieve if he would wake up his will power? It is said that he saw a vision which contained a message for him. It acted as a spiritual stimulant to him. The words were, "Tune the sitar, neither low nor high. The string overstretched breaks, and the music dies. The string overslack is dumb, and the music dies." He thought to himself, "I too have tortured my body to starvation. I have taken two extremes. Let me follow the middle path." Gautam Buddha had a very strong willpower, and only because of his willpower was he able to attain nirvana. But before he did that, he had a vision. And in this vision, he saw, "Tune in the sitar, nor high nor low. If you overstretch it, the strings will break and the music will die. If you overslack it, the strings will become dumb, and that will also kill the music." After this, Gautam Buddha realized something. He was acting too much with his body. He was overstressing his body. And that is when he decided to take the middle path, which is not very extreme and not very low. When he tried to get up to take a bath in the river, he found that he had become so weak that he could not rise. Just then, a beautiful girl named Sujata appeared before him, carrying a golden bowl filled with sweetened milk and rice. When she saw the weakened ascetic, she offered the bowl at his feet. "Lord, please accept my offering of milk and rice." Buddha accepted her offering. This was his first meal after many days of starvation. It refreshed him and infused a new strength in him. He realized that making the body suffer was not the way to enlightenment and truth. When Gautam Buddha decided to get up and take a bath in the river, he was not able to rise. His body had become very weak. Just at that moment, a young girl appears. She was very beautiful, and her name was Sujata. She was carrying a golden bowl in her hand, and in this bowl was rice and sweetened milk. When Sujata saw Gautam Buddha, she felt very bad. So she offered the bowl of milk and rice to Gautam Buddha, and Buddha accepted it willingly. He enjoyed his first meal after a very long time, and after finishing his meal, he felt very fresh and he could think in a better way. And that made him realize that starving his body was not a good thing to do. What he had done was very extreme. Gautama had longed for enlightenment. That night, he found the answer to his query. What is the cause of sorrow? The cause of sorrow is desire. The cure for sorrow is to give up all desires and adopt right living. Born under a tree, the Buddha received illumination also under a tree. To this day, we venerate this tree as the Bodhi Tree. Gautam Buddha had been waiting for enlightenment from a very long time, and that night he finally got it. Children, I have a question for you. How do you feel when you want something but you don't get it? Of course, all of us feel sad. But how would you feel if you don't want anything and you don't get it? It won't make a difference, right? So that is exactly what Gautam Buddha discovered. He realized that the root cause of dukkha or sorrow is desire. We feel sad only when we want it, but if we don't want it, we won't feel sad. So the message that Gautam Buddha is trying to give is, to end sorrow, we need to end our desire and live the right path. Gautam Buddha was born under a tree and he received his nirvana under the tree. This tree is known as the Bodhi Tree. Children, I hope you enjoyed today's story and I hope that you learned something new. Children, I hope you enjoyed today's session. We read a wonderful story which had a very important message for all of us. On that note, I would like to take your leave. I will see you all in our next session. Until then, take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.